Hi guys, Mr. Rita here. Today in writing, we're going to be dealing with nouns. Now, some of you may remember from other grade levels, what is a noun? Noun is a person, a place, a thing, or even an idea that we may have. And today we're going to be taking a look at those very closely and seeing the differences between those type of nouns and the two categories that they're into: common nouns and proper nouns. Let's take a look. The first one that we're dealing with is people. Let's take a look at the first two columns in red. They have proper nouns and proper nouns, but then the third one is common. So let's take a look at the differences. For proper nouns that name people, they are describing exactly who you're looking for or exactly who you're talking about. For example, Julie, Maria, or Juan. And notice that those three names, they all begin with capital letter because it's a specific name of a person. In the second column, we can see that for a proper noun for people, they can also include titles such as Mr., Mrs., Doctor, Nurse, etc., or others. And notice here that we have Mr. Jones, and Mr. begins with a capital letter as a proper title. And then we have Jones that begins with a capital letter as well because we're talking about a specific person. The second one we have is Miss Leos. Then we have Nurse Jones. Notice that each one of those are naming a specific person, meaning that you're going to need a capital letter at the beginning. However, the difference between a proper noun and a common noun is simply that you're not being specific whenever you're using a common noun. Take a look. Common nouns name any person without being specific. Girl, boy, nurse, or teacher. I could mean any girl in the classroom, maybe any girl in the school, maybe any girl in the neighborhood or in the world. We don't know who we're talking about. That's what makes it common. Same thing for boy, nurse, teacher. It could be any teacher. It doesn't have to be me. It could be any other teacher around the world, any nurse, not only your nurse. So think about that. The next one we're going to see are places. Now take a look. In the first column, I have common nouns for places. And then we can see that is talking about common nouns not being specific again, and meaning that they could be talking about any place at all, like a school. It could be any school. It could be a school here in Houston, over there in Puerto Rico, in Florida, in Mexico, anywhere, right? We don't know which school. A park or a museum. It could be any. Possibilities are endless. Now, proper nouns for places, however, are very specific and they mean an exact place. For example, instead of saying school, you could have said Grissom Elementary School. Instead of saying park, it would be Herman Park, for example. Instead of saying museum, we could say the Houston Museum of Natural Science. And notice that each one of those words that name the specific place will need capital letter. This is important because if you notice over here, we still have those three little words. We still have school, but this time is capitalized because it's part of a bigger name. We still have park, but this time is capitalized because it's not any park, it's Herman Park. Same thing with museum. This time we are being specific about the museum that we're speaking of, and therefore you're going to need a capital letter because it's part of the proper name. Let's take a look at things. For common things, remember comments are not being specific and they could mean absolutely anything, like chocolate, marker, or dog. But if we want to be specific and name exactly one, we could mean instead of chocolate, kisses of Hershey's. Instead of marker, an expo marker. And instead of dog, maybe a German Shepherd. And finally, let's take a look at ideas. And I think that the ideas are the most complicated one. Notice that I do not have two columns this time, I only have one. And let me explain you why and what ideas are in the grammar world. Nouns that count as ideas are those that we can name but we cannot touch, meaning that they are not things. We cannot go there, so that means that they're not places, and we cannot talk to, so they're not people. So we said that nouns could be people, places, or things. Ideas cannot be neither of those. And it says that we have a general idea of what these things are, and so we describe them by naming them. However, they are not specific or true for everyone. For example, love, dreams, peace, and justice. And those are just a few examples. Let me explain a little bit more. Some people may think, oh, but I can touch love, I can feel love. Touching and feeling is very different. Maybe you can feel a kiss, and kisses, for us, it feels like love. Maybe you can feel a hug, but notice that kisses and hugs, those are completely different nouns. Those nouns will count as things. Ideas are what we think about. Love. Maybe for me, love is a nice gesture. Maybe for you, love is something different. Same thing for dreams. Can you touch your dreams? Can you go to your dreams? Is dream a person? Those things that we can name and we think, oh, I had a dream last night. We can all relate. What's a dream? Oh, something that you're having in your head while you're sleeping. Ah, we can name those. Those are ideas, but those will not be necessarily common or proper. They would just be ideas, and depending on how you use those ideas in context, then you would like to capitalize them or not. Usually, we don't capitalize ideas. So, today, our assignment is going to be to take a look at the description box. We're going to have some exercises, and I'm going to need you to identify each noun of the sentence and to identify it if it's a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Okay? Let's take a look at this example so that you can see what do I mean. Julie and Miguel are neighbors since first grade. So think about all the nouns that you can see in that sentence. The first two obvious nouns that I have up there is Julie and Miguel. Those two, I put them over here together because those two are proper nouns for people. That's why they both have capital letter M being specific. So I need to say proper nouns. And what type of noun? People. The next noun I have in my sentence is neighbors. So neighbors is a common noun for a person. If I say neighbor, it could be any of the neighbors that I have around me, right? And first grade is the last noun in that sentence, and it is an idea of where you are. Think about it carefully. If you think about first grade and you ask your parents about their first grade, they have different ideas and memories of what first grade was for them. And because we're not talking of a specific classroom or a specific teacher, being in first grade is an idea that we name. Okay? So try to remember those. If we cannot be there, if that's not a person, if it's not a thing, and we can name it, it's an idea. Now make sure that you identify each noun in your sentence. Let me know which one is it and send it to me via Class Dojo, text message, Teams, or emails, okay? I'll be waiting for your responses. And as always, have a beautiful day. I miss you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.